Even down attached. It was
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. 3:36. Okay, you have the minutes from March 18th, policy board meeting. You have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Need to adopt resolution 26-13 to amend the current TIP to decrease funding on the following project. Project description is construction on Church Street from State Route 3 to Somerville Road.
Yeah, this project's actually an MPO project. This project was late spring. These are the new updated numbers for that project, researching that project. If you remember at the last MPO meeting, we deleted the utility portion out of this project because we didn't need any utility work done. So that saved the city some money and the MPO. This project actually is a decrease in funding because the project come in under what we had in the system for cost estimate. This project's actually comes in at a total of $1,003,242. Looks like that the decreased cost, it will save the city of Decatur a little over $68,000. That project should be underway before too long. The engineering department is handling that, so it'll be resurfaced. So it's a good bit of portion of Church Street that's been funded under the MPO because the other project was a total rebuild. And this one didn't have to go all the way down to the base because the base was good. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
The city don't care if it saves you some money, do you?
All right, do we have a motion to adopt resolution 2613?
Motion.
Second. Motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's adopted. Item 4, adopt resolution 26-14 to amend the current TIP program, TIP plan to add the following projects. Project description is State Route 20, new location to increase capacity over the Tennessee River in Decatur from Highway 67 to I-65.
This project, actually, the city of Decatur received a federal earmark or allocation for $3 million from Congressman Strong. We met with Mr. Cooper from AlDOT and the chief engineer and basically laid out what we would like to see in the near future. They come back after we worked up a scope, and they come back and they added another little bit over $7 million to that to bring this project up to a total of $10 million. So the description in there is a little big, but what's going to be looked at is the existing corridor all the way from Interstate 65 all the way to the Beltline. It's going to be looked at for improvements to help alleviate some traffic jams, to see what we can do, probably in phases. Most of the time when you're doing a bridge project, if we get this first phase done with this preliminary engineering, there's bridge grants that we can go after to try to fix some of these problems, because we know we need to 3-lane that roadway. We also need a new bridge because you can't widen the truss bridge that's out there now. The intersection on the south side of Wilson Street and 6th Avenue needs to be looked at more in depth than what it has in the past. Y interchange on the Limestone County side needs to be reworked. There's a planned interchange at the church that's been in the plan for a long time. That needs to be looked at also. In doing this, with this preliminary engineering work, we also would do some environmental downstream for a new bridge in future years. So this picks up where we left off with the MPO study that we did. It's been about a year ago now. That project had it had ARC money and $1 million with the city putting up $1 million. This project is all federal funds and state funds. The city does not have a match in this. We run the last study in-house. This study, ALDOT will run from their Montgomery location with the stakeholders, with the North Division and us too. We'll have input onto that. But ALDOT's more equipped to do a study like this, especially when it gets into the NEPA and the environmental. But we'll still be stakeholders in them meetings and what's going on that corridor. So hopefully we can get a solution or two and try to alleviate some of the problems that are out there now.
We have a motion to adopt resolution 2614.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Wayne, I do have a question about that. And I know you probably can't answer, but I'm sure we have a little influence that they'll start on this end instead of this end. This is the bottleneck end. It really needs to work on instead of.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll work along with ALDOT to try to see if we can.
that if we can solve that, let's solve a lot of issues.
Yeah, solve a lot of issues. And if we could get the wine interchange done, that would solve it a bit too. But we're working on it.
The study will remain.
And I was going to mention too, this project is probably, I would say maybe October, because the federal money's been passed, but it hasn't been authorized to be used yet. So a lot of times in a bill, when the money's obligated, it's obligated, but until it's authorized, you can't move forward with the project. But that shouldn't be long. It should be sometime this summer, I would think, that it gets authorized and we can move forward with, for ALDOT to move forward with selecting consultants who's going to do the work.
All right. Item number 5, adopt resolution 26-15 to amend the current TIF to decrease funding on the following project. Resurfacing bridge, guardrail retrofit, guardrail in-anchor upgrades, and guardrail rest for steel blockouts on US 31 from south end of Captain W.J. Hudson Bridge to Thomas Hammond Road. Do we have any questions about that one?
Yeah, this is an ALDOT project. It's being managed by ALDOT and I think should start sometime maybe this summer. So you don't schedule for this summer. It is. Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anytime we can save money and spend federal money, I'm all behind those.
Yes, Mr.
Item 6, adopt resolution 26-16 to adopt the draft FY 2027 Unified Planning Work Program.
This is actually the UPWP for the next fiscal year. It basically outlines all the tasks that we are to do in the next fiscal year to be eligible for federal funding. The funding that's in here is called PL funds or it's planning funds. It's basically our budget in the MPO here. The match money on the local match, it's divided by 6 ways because there's 6 members in the MPO. And we do that on population. We adjusted that a couple of years ago because the 2020 census come out. So we are not using the 2020 numbers on the population figures. So it's based upon what the dues is based upon population in each city or county that the MPO covers. Like I said, this is a draft document. We will send this document down to ALDOT. They will check it, which they already have checked the majority of it. Local planning has, and we made all of the revisions that they wanted us to. And they'll review it again, and probably sometime in August, we'll come back and do the draft or final document for next fiscal year. We have to have it to ALDOT, I think, it's September 1st, I think. And then they send it on to Federal Highway, and Federal Highway also reviews the document. So basically, it's our budget for next fiscal year.
All right, any discussion? Not entertain a motion to adopt it.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, adopt resolution 26-17 to adopt the draft 2050 long-range transportation plan.
All right.
Everybody has a copy of it.
And there's copies on the desk, there's extra copies, but there's also copies have been mailed out. Copy, after it's adopted, will be put up on the webpage, for, anybody to view. This is a draft document, so it's not, fully adopted. This is not fully adopted yet. The draft will come back in late August or early September to, do the final. But long-range transportation plan is basically the MPO is tasked with doing three things mainly. Is UPWP each year, the TIP or Transportation Improvement Program, that's a short-range plan, and then the long-range transportation plan. We update this plan every 5 years. So every 5 years we go through this process. So what we do is we take the old plan and then we update the old plan. So this is an update of the 2045 long-range transportation plan. As you look through the document, you'll read a lot of things. We have goals, objectives in there. We have information on the transportation network. We have socioeconomic data, which includes housing units, employment, which is broken down into retail and non-retail employment. Have dorm rooms in the future, that's dorm rooms, median income, and school info. So we put all of that together, and we have, I think it's 287 task zones that we have. So them task zones are those zones, if we break them up, say like in a block, a city block, we break them up. We put all that information, and I'm giving you the high 30,000 foot view of this. We put all of that into a travel demand model, and we validate that model to the counts that was on the roadway in 2020. To give you an example, the interstate, basically the Federal Highway Administration says we have to be within 7% or under on our count. So the model's got to be 7% or under what the actual counts are. We go through all that process, and it's a long process, especially gathering the data. And we're actually working on the next plan now, gathering the data, because it takes 2 or 3 years to do that. It's kind of a tedious operation. Once we get that in the travel demand model, we run that travel demand model, and it tells us what the traffic looks like in 2020 based upon the percentage numbers. The principal arterials, which is like 6th Avenue, Beltline, 24, 36, 67, all of them are principal arterials. We usually hit below 10% on them too, error rate. So we try to get it as best as we can, replicating for that time period in 2020 that is our baseline. So why do we do that? Well, we have to do it because it says in the federal regulations that you need to look at what needs to be done, but you also need to have some way to quantify what you're doing in the future. And that's what we're doing here. We're making sure it's validated. I sent the travel demand model to the local trans division at ALDOT. This MPO wasn't in place at that time. There's different people now, but they validated, they sent it to their consultant. That consultant validated our model. So it was validated for 2020. ALDOT give us notice to proceed to do the 2050. So what we do is we take all that data that I just talked about and we project out to 2050. And in 2050, we actually look and see what the traffic's doing in 2050. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes in this computer program. We have to put a lot of data into it now, and then we have to validate it. The code, the current software we use for this, we're switching softwares, or ALDOT is. There's programming in there. we done the programming to make sure that it's replicating what's out here. Once we do all of that, there are some maps on your table. And they're spread around. Basically, you're looking at, first one is 2020 unset level of service roadway. Well, when we look at 2020, main roadway is the bridge and the road connecting to the bridge. And right now, we've got, I looked the other day, new counts, there's about 56,000 vehicles on the new bridge, on the bridge now. So there's a lot of traffic coming across that bridge. So it's red, it's a level of service F, which level of service F means that it's bad. But it's not bad at all times of the day. Rush hour, we know it's congested really bad. And at other times of the day, it's congested too. Something happens on the interstate bridge, look out. Or something happens on this bridge, the same way on the other bridge. So once we look at that, we get to do projects that can kind of help alleviate the problems that we have. But the problems that we have with a lot of the roads and winding roads, we don't have enough money to fix. So the MPO right now, this body, actually receives $1,735,935 a year for projects. That's, the MPO decides where that money is spent. Go back to the first project that we talked about, that Church Street, that's an MPO project. That money that was allocated towards that project comes out of our MPO money, or that 1.7 billion per year. In the federal rules, it tells us that we have to be financially constrained on the projects that we enter into on that transportation plan. So what we do is we take that $1.7 billion and we project that out to 2050, and basically it comes up with, we probably have around $40 million in the future to spend on transportation projects. And that's all in the plan. So what do we do with that? So a lot of these projects that you're seeing on these, on the first page, is page 64. All the way down to project 10 is projects that are inside the TIP, or they're inside the Transportation Improvement Program. So them projects are already programmed into the TIP, so money is planned for them projects. And some of these projects are authorized. So that means they're ongoing, or they're ready to start once they get authorized. If you look at 11 on down, these are projects that we put in the system, and a lot of these projects come out of the last plan because some of them's not finished yet. So all of these projects from 11 to 41 are all MPO projects that could be done in the next 30 years. Now, you see a date over here, a year. That year they want us to put a year in, but if one of these projects needs to move up, you can move it up. You just amend the plan, okay? There's gonna be projects in here that you're thinking about right now that's saying, oh, that project needs to be done. Well, if it needs to be done, it's on a functionally classified road, and the city or the county come and say, okay, we want this project done, and we have available funds in the MPO, and the city or the county or whoever matches that money, then we can amend this plan and put it in the TIP. So this is a living document. It's not, hey, this is what we're gonna do, because it's hard for us to project out 30 years. I mean, on what needs to be done. So these projects we know need to be done, but we know there's others out there that also need to be done. So if it becomes a priority, we can amend this and put it in the TIP if funding is available and the city provides the match.
That's the same way with any new project.
It is.
Come up with new, we can place it anywhere really.
Yeah, we can.
We need to.
You amend the plan and then put it in the TIP. Because we know, I use the example, what if an Amazon locates in Priceville? We know we're going to have to do some work there. So things like that, we can't predict. So once that comes in, you amend the plan and put them in project. You still got to make sure you're balanced. So, one of these other projects in the latter years would have to move out, but you still have to be balanced in the TIF and the DIP. But basically, the financially constrained side of this is not a visionary side. But the next projects on this is actually ALDOT projects. It's on page 67. These are all the projects that ALDOT has in the current Transportation Improvement Program. And if you notice, there's no projects that is outside of the TIP. We, the MPO, really have no approval process for their projects. If they want to go out and resurface one of their roadways, well, we bring it in here to put it in the TIP, but we don't know what their plans are out 10 or 15 years from now. And y'all don't either. So it's kind of hard to project that. But them projects are basically state projects. The next federal state funded projects, these are ATRIP 2 grants. And one of them is a Reconnected Communities grant for Decatur, Dr. Sims Bikeway. But the other three are ATRIP projects. ATRIP projects, even though they use state money, they still need to go in the transportation plan because they're regionally, usually they're regionally, they're regional. And then the last one is transit projects or level effort. And we took what they receive in 2026 and we projected that out all the way to 2050. Now, the transit is run from NARCOG. It's not run through here. They run a transit agency. But the 5307 funding does come into, it has to be put in the TIP because it's federal funding in transit. So once we do all of that, we run a model for 2050. And if you look at the 2050 level of service, you see a whole lot of roadways that's either F or E. And once we calculate that projected data, it'll put traffic on the roadways. So, it's the major roadways that are congested in certain spots that we know that we're going to fix. But as I go back saying earlier, we don't give a 1.7 million a year that this body can basically say where the money comes from. So we've had capacity projects in the past. The capacity projects that we had to pass was so costly that we couldn't do them anymore. So basically what we do now is we do intersection projects, we do resurfacing and other smaller projects. So what we're finding out now is even small intersection projects are $2 million and up. But if we go to trying to widen the road, say a 2-mile roadway, it's going to take us 4, 5, 6 years to save up enough money for that 1.7 to do that. So what they allow us to do, the feds allow us to do, they allow us to do what we call a visionary plan. And if you look on that sheet, I think everybody's got some on page 76, these are visionary type projects. These projects don't have to be financially constrained, they're just visionary. And if we find that some of them projects need to be done, or we get federal money to do some of these projects, guess what? We move them into the section of the physical section of the long-range plan, and then they can move into the TIP. But these are usually all large capacity projects, and they're very costly. So this, once we get done with them projects, that map here shows all them projects that are mapped on the visionary side. But if you look, once once we put all them projects in on the visionary side, unacceptable level of service, we take care of most of that except the bridge and the Highway 20 corridor. 6th Avenue is red on there. Well, it's gonna be hard to do anything to 6th Avenue right now because it's gonna be hard to get right of way down through there to do anything. Cause it's right up against the right of way the way it is now. Hopefully with the bridge project that we talked about earlier today, hopefully we can come back in 5 years when we do this plan again and say, okay, that's taken care of. It's all based on capacity because the bridge right now has a different capacity on one side than it does the other. Going out, it's about 50 a day. Coming in, it's 30 something a day because it's 2 lane. So it bogs down at the intersection. So we're working on that. So the next steps we do with visionary, well, with the plan, the whole plan is we send the document to AlDOT, they check it. But from today forward, we have open public comment period. This will be on our website. It's available to all of y'all also because you have it in your offices or your cities or town. You can just look at it. We also have 2 public meetings, trying to get them set up. Look at the 7th and the 9th of July, but I'm gonna have to see about availability. We'll probably have one here in Decatur, and then we'll have one in Hartselle. And we usually do them like 4 to 6, 4 to 6:30. So if somebody's working, they can get there. They want to. It'll be up on our website also. But it has staff for public comment for 30 days. And then we'll do the AlDOT comments when they come back for comments. I think we got all the rules and regulations in there. There may be a few things that we need to put in because there's always something going in. And but basically that's it in kind of a nutshell. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but basically we do this and we're eligible for federal funding once this happens. A lot of these projects need to be done, and it's a funding, it's a funding issue because nobody ever gets enough funding, but we get some, and we have made some improvements on some roadways around here with the money we get. AlDOT also, they made improvements with the money they get also.
You said we get 1.7 million. How long has it been since that's been increased?
It increases about every year.
Just a little fraction.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk about that during the last phase because the transportation bill is gonna have some effect on that. But it's increased. When I first come over here, we got like, I think it was $700-some-thousand. So it increases with each bill. Once they do a bill, it increases most of the time.
And it's based off the population too.
It is.
That's one of the reasons as elected officials, we need to make sure when the census is going on, and we really encourage our citizens to participate in the census because a lot of these federal programs, the money's based on our population that they take that right from the census. So, when we vote, we only have about 25% show up. We need in the census, we need about 100% show up. So, it increases the dollars. Well, Dwayne, I want to tell you, thank you on that because for the newly elected officials too, one thing when you're out retail, they want to know traffic numbers and stuff like that. A lot of times you can get some of that information from this long range plan.
Yeah.
So y'all have done a good job and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and if any of y'all need information or whatever, just give us a call. We got it. We got employment data. We got census data. We got all that kind of data. And some of it's interesting. Some of it can be boring, but some of it's pretty interesting.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt resolution 2017? Second. Mary? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passes. Item 8, adopt resolution 26-18, adopting the AlDOT FY 2026 transit assistance performance measures for Tier 2 5307, 5311 agencies. I'm gonna let you explain that.
This one is Narcotic runs the 5307 program, urban program. transit here in town. And every 3 or 4 years, they have to do a plan, and these numbers have to be included in the plan. These numbers are usually, they have a consultant to look at it, they put these numbers in. And we need to adopt them because it needs to go into the plan. It also probably has to go into our TIP because of it next year. We don't do the transit program here, but their funding comes through because it has to be in the TIP for them to receive funding. So this is basically what their goals and objectives are for FY '26. We'll probably do another one of them in FY '27.
I think they just had a public meeting on that a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, they did.
All right, do we have a motion to adopt it?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Motion passes. Item 9, ALDOT. MPO staff news and updates. We'll turn over to ALDOT, let y'all go.
All right, these first stage projects are currently under construction. The I-65 bridge maintenance project, Tennessee River, work is finishing up on this project. The contractor is finishing up a few items under the bridge. The main structural work is already complete. Traffic has been shifted back to the original lanes. And working on contractor work on permanent strap. I-65 resurfacing in Morgan County. Currently, the work is on the north end of the project from State Route 36 to Tennessee River. It's nighttime paving work. Mainline paving is complete. Work is ongoing on the shoulders, ramps, and the guardrail. It's estimated to be complete probably in the summer, early fall. I-65 ITS project, Priceville to Athens. Work on this project should be finished in the fall. Decatur 6th Avenue, access management sidewalks, most of the signal poles have been installed. The contractors work on the sidewalks on the west side of the road. Overall, it's about 65% complete. Resurfacing on State Route 67, belt line from US 31 to State Route 24 is substantially complete. Contractors working on lunch list items. West Morgan Road culvert over Baker's Creek. The work is almost complete on that project. Contractors working on finishing up shoulders and getting vegetation established. State Route 24 and South Greenway Drive intersection in Trinity. Rogers Group just started work on that a few weeks ago. They're working on grading and drainage. Parcel Lawn Bridge Road, US 31 intersection. Work should be starting in the next month or two on this one. These next 6 projects are on the state highway system. They're under design and not yet. Construction's not yet started. Resurfacing State Route 67 from I-65 to US 31 Beltline. It was led in March to Grayson Carter and Son for $1.3 million. Paving should start in the next few weeks. Resurfacing State Route 67, the Beltline from State Route 24 to State Route 20. It was led in April to Rogers Group around $1 million. It should be started later in the summer. It's nighttime paving. Resurfacing US 31 Tennessee River Bridge, Tennessee River Causeway to Calhoun Community College. It was led in May to the Rogers Group for approximately $2.9 million. It should be starting up late in the summer. It's nighttime paving also. I-65 bridge deck hydroblasting at State Route 67 at Cedar Creek. The design is approximately 90% complete. It's on schedule to last sometime in fiscal year 2027. I-65 bridge replacements at Lakon. The design is approximately 65% complete. The scheduled bidding is sometime in fiscal year 2027. US 31 bridge replacements on Southern Railroad at Tanner. We're getting started with the coordination work with the railroad to get the approvals for the bridge design. The next 3 projects are MPO projects under design, yet under construction. Church Street rehab from US 31 to Somerville Road. It was led in April to the Rogers Group. for approximately $670,000. Partial traffic signal detection upgrades, plans are approximately 85% complete. Partial Lando Cave Road, State Route 36 intersection improvements. The design is approximately 85% complete. Right away is in the process of being purchased and it's on schedule to be let sometime in fiscal year 2027, depending on the right of way acquisition. The next two projects under design, Decatur State Route 67 at Upper River Road. The design of the plans are about 85% complete and scheduled to let in November. Parcel US 31 Sparkman Street intersection plans are 90% and it's scheduled to let in August.
I'm sorry, I should have introduced Travis before we got started, but Travis Kilgore is our new region reconstruction engineer. So when Ron Ellis moved up to be assistant region engineer for me, that vacated his position. And Travis was the local road, he ran the local roads department for Northeast Alabama, what we call the Gulfville area. And now he's promoted to region reconstruction engineer, so he'll be leading all our plant efforts.
Thank you. Welcome. One thing I do want to kind of commend Aldot on that I-65 bridge work that y'all did. You know, there was a lot of headaches and people worried about how bad it was going to be, and there were some days that it was tight, but it was never as bad as everybody thought it was going to be, and so that was a good job. The way they managed it, the way it was done, that was great. I appreciate it, and I appreciate Seth doing all the communication. That has let me get the word out earlier, so I've had far less complaints since we've been able to give that information out. So I appreciate that. So, all right, MPO staff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about Chairman's question. The House has passed out of committee a new transportation bill. National Transportation Bill actually expires at the end of September. So the first bill markup come out of the House in April. I've read most of it, and yes, it's favorable towards the MPO, so it's more funded. They're going back to a traditional, looks like a traditional transportation bill to where it'd be more on two bridges. It passed the House, or it passed the committee in the House. Full House is not voted on it yet. On the Senate side, the committees are still working on the bill. It may be totally different than what's in the House side, and they'll reconcile, hopefully. Well, getting it done by the end of September is probably an if. I remember, not this last transportation bill, but the one before that, I think it was 3 times they passed a continuing resolution. So if, they get it passed, it would be good because there is a lot of favorable stuff in the bill on the House side. Of course, I have to look at the Senate side whenever it comes out of committee to see if it kind of reflects the same. But we're keeping tabs on that, trying to see what's going to happen. But hopefully they'll get one done by the end of September. But if they don't, it'll be under continuing resolution. And usually when they do a continuing resolution, it slows the money flow down a whole lot. So hopefully they can get something passed.
All right, anybody got any new business from Goodrich Group?
I just thank y'all, Dwayne. You and your staff done a great job. I mean, a lot of work went into this. I know Aldot, y'all got a lot of asphalt going down. So it's y'all really good to North Alabama right now. We appreciate that.
Can I ask a question? Sure. The 2050 plan, the long range plan. I know that the data points are being developed and sent forward to, as I understand it, to Aldot to look at and see what those features look like, what the traffic looks like. Does that include, outside of Decatur, the projected new intersection north of us on 65, the impact of that on this plan?
That's actually in Huntsville's MPO to where they're looking for a new interchange. Are you talking about the one, which interchange are you talking about?
Does I understand there's something going north on 65 between Athens and the river?
We joined Huntsville's MPO at Interstate 65 and 565. We go as far north as Tottenham Road. Huntsville has the rest of it, so that would be Huntsville. That's in the band area.
Well, but it's definitely gonna have potential impact on ours.
Yeah, we look at that with external counts. We have external counts there where ours ends, so we project them out too, based on growth rates. And it allows for traffic coming into this area. And they do the same thing on theirs. Their external would tell them how much traffic's coming out of our area into their area. So it has, a lot of times, their development does have a lot of impact on ours. And we try to capture it, but the only way we can capture it is by external counts. And right now, it's 60-something thousand on, coming off of 565 onto 65 and 20. So there's a lot of traffic coming right in that area right there.
And with this being a draft too, once they finalize their plan, then they'll give us some more updated information so that we can go back and add that to our plan.
And we take account on the developments. We can go back in and run them all as a stated earlier. There's an Amazon or a big manufacturing company coming north of the river. We can kind of project that and say, okay, here we've got 600 employees and with traffic is that going to impact us with, and we can look at that. And we have in the past.
Can I ask another question? Does it also include, looks like I just went to a meeting yesterday with the planning commission. A lot of new developments are getting produced. In certain areas, specifically south of 67 and basically west of Point Mountain, Priceville's area, that vicinity. A lot of new houses going in.
We account for that in the 2050. We project out. We loaded a lot of housing units up. We know where the growth's going. We also look at building permits when we're doing this. So we kind of know where the growth's going. So we put that growth in there and then it tells us, hey, here's what's coming out. Because we go by what we call productions and attractions. Productions are at the home end. Attractions is where you're going, say to work. So we have different trip rates in there that we can look at.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.